Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Michelle Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Mridu Parikh, the founder of Life is Organized LLC, and better known as the Stress Squasher, joining us. Based in Nashville, Mridu is a productivity coach, keynote speaker, and author. And through her Productivity on Purpose podcast and her coaching programs, she's helped professionals, especially women, reclaim 10 plus hours a week and reduce overwhelm. We'll explore her founding story, how Life is Organized transforms lives through time management, and her vision for scaling this mission-driven coaching business. So let's dive in. Welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to have you here as well. So let's kick things off for the listeners here. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem within the productivity or time management landscape, perhaps around stress or like juggling work-life balance, inspired you to start Life is Organized?
I was actually on an entrepreneurial journey doing some other businesses.
Yeah.
And within a few years, I found, like many entrepreneurs, that I recognized that I got stuck in the busyness, right? On the tasks I thought I should be doing instead of what really mattered. And probably like many business owners, I was spread too thin in my business and also at home, raising a family, and ended up scattered and exhausted and feeling like a failure on many days and even resentful. And I would think to myself, how is it possible that I am working this hard and still not getting the results that I want? So I jumped into learning all things productivity and time management, just like on a personal development journey. And after lots of hits and misses, I discovered what really worked for me, especially when I was overloaded. And I thought, okay, I've come out on this other side. So I can either go back to this constant reactivity and feeling behind, or I could embrace these new beliefs in this simple structure, just what I did.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I cannot be the only business owner feeling this way. I can't. And there has to be more people. And I really discovered that there was that need, and not just only for everything going on in your business life, but your personal life as well, because life is integrated. And so that's what I kind of knew was my calling, was to teach those skills to other time-strapped professionals who want to take back control of their day too. So they have the confidence that they deserve and really are on top and feel like I can get the results that I know that it's possible. And so now I teach that to other beyond business owners, just professionals in corporate environments as well, and teams, and train and coach them. And I just feel really lucky to get to do it.
Love that. I love the fact that your own personal story gives you like a very unique lens, especially if you want to connect with clients. Now, on that note, let's dive into the nuts and bolts of really where the offer stands today. For our listeners and even potential clients tuning in, walk us through how Life is Organized generates revenue today. What's the core offerings? Is it one-on-one coaching, corporate training, and how do you structure what you do for your clients?
Yeah, great. I generate revenue in three ways. There's corporate training, there's one-on-one coaching, and then there's consulting. So for me, the best partnership in terms of getting ROI for my clients is a combo of three. But it really, because then you become a partner with your client, whether it's a small business, whether it's a corporate company, it's really partnering with them, because the changes that we're trying to make, when we're talking about your time and your productivity, your focus, your email management, your meeting management, all that, these are just habits. Like, they're habits we're trying to change. And when you are working with someone and partnering with their teams and them individually over time, those habits can get changed. If you're just doing it one, I don't love the one in, one out approach. I will do it. I'm there for retreats. I do conferences. I do all that stuff. But you know how it is. You go to a conference, you get really excited, you hear somebody, and then 2 days later, you fall back into your old habits again. So with that longevity and partnership approach, I can train with a team, really dive into the nuts and bolts, and then follow up with one-on-one coaching with whoever needs it, whoever wants it, for more reinforcements, for more support. An example would be if we're going over how to manage all the millions of to-do lists that you have and all the to-dos and the demands, so nothing falls through the cracks. We do a training on it. But then you might say, okay, but when I go back to my desk, I'm still struggling with this. So I'd love to have some one-on-one support with you. And that's really like an ideal result-focused partnership.
Love that. I love the fact
Yeah.
that you pretty much diversified a lot of these offerings and like you're really focused on just like tailoring that just based off of really where they stand, where they're at in their
Yeah.
journey. Now, building on a lot, I know you've been featured in Forbes, you're doing a lot of speaking gigs as well. Let's talk about on this growth, how you're acquiring some of your clients today, which channels, whether it is your podcast, LinkedIn, some of your referrals, what's been effective for landing clients for coaching and consulting?
Yeah, the way I like to think about it, and I'll answer this in a second, but I just want to start by saying I'm really thinking about leverage. So whatever I do, there's like that visibility, and it's not just for one place. So even if I'm creating, example is if I'm creating a new speaking somewhere, I'm doing a speaking engagement at a conference, and I'm creating a new keynote, let's say, I'll take that keynote and then create different a blog post from it, and then create a podcast episode from it, and then create a training from that. And so whatever it is that I'm doing, creating, it's a lot of content creation. It's really imperative to me that I'm now taking that and leveraging it across channels. But given that, the place where I'm getting the best traction is typically, there's usually two ways. Typically, it's speaking. So again, conferences, associations, just getting out there nationally, really great visibility. And I think that really creates that one-on-one connection. People can see, feel all of it, and see my passion. So that's one. And then the second is just a combo between LinkedIn and then my current clients always, of course, like referrals. Going to my clients, they see how passionate I am, they see the results and saying, who else do you know? Or I see that you're associated with these other particular clients. Would you mind making that introduction?
Great. No, I
Yeah.
love the fact that you're leaning into the network, really leveraging referrals as well. And no, that's the best way to not just grow your network, but the community. You can learn from each other in that sense. I'd love to learn more about your approach to sales now. What strategies have been the most effective in converting some of the leads that do come in, anyone you interact with, into actual like long-term partners? Are you leveraging more of like your podcast audience, keynote talks? What is your like approach essentially in those conversations? And also, are you doing it on your own right now, or do you have a small team backing you up?
Yeah, it's probably a combination of several things. I think sales obviously is all these different channels, but is if I can do everything I can to direct someone through the journey to ultimately get on a call. And I think that's where the magic happens, right? That's the connection. That's what we're missing so often with like email campaigns or Instagram or social. It's just like, where's that one-on-one? And I think that's really where you can hear your clients, you're speaking their language, you understand their challenges, you're really digging in deep. And that's where you can then provide that very tailored solution and show them that you understand what they're saying. And typically, and I'll have many clients say, you said that better than I did. Like when you can reiterate it and when you can not echo it, but basically simplify what somebody is saying and just get it down to the root of here's the issue and here's the problem. I think that's where the magic happens and where the sales happen. But along that journey, yes, I think my podcast has been really helpful, more for a pretty cold audience, maybe someone I don't know that well, but to say, hey, again, you can really connect with me. It's like I'm in your ear, standing right by you. So that's a great place to send them. And
Mm,
then just nurture sequence, whether again, that's through my blog, through the podcast, through an email, just following up. I really pride myself in my follow through and follow up system. They say like 70% of the sales happen there, and it's true.
yeah.
It's so often clients they're a good fit and they're interested in your whatever service or offering, just the time isn't right. So
Yeah.
it could be 3 months from now or 6 months from now, like that follow up sequence or system. And again, I like to keep it really personal. I'm one of
Yeah.
the few people I think that I pick up the phone. Like I think that is a lost art. It is one
Mm,
of the best things for sales. And there's so much everyone's inundated with emails and texts. Just pick up the phone and leave a message. And really, if you're calling 10 people, maybe nine, you're gonna get nine voicemails. Like one person might pick up. And out of the nine voicemails you leave, maybe two will call you back. So it's not a high hit rate, but I think that's memorable. Just like someone took the time to pick up the phone and call me and didn't do a mass campaign. So
mm.
those are some of the tactics that have worked really well for me.
Love that. I love the fact that you brought that up because it's something that a lot of just business owners probably shy away from. It's, am I going to appear as I'm pushy? But like, you have to be able to nurture those relationships. And I'm sure in your experience, sometimes those are the best outcomes at the end of the day. That's what makes you stand out amongst the noise and everyone else is trying to get their attention. The really just that value that you're giving them over time and really easing them into that process. Now, from what it sounds like, this growth has been super incredible. For the listeners that are still trying to, and founders especially, they're trying to find their footing in their own journey. If you can share with us maybe like one bottleneck that maybe stands out to you right now for Life is Organized, what would it be? Is it attracting more of the right types of clients you want to work with, scaling some of the programming and fulfillment? What are you most focused on solving to keep all of the momentum going?
Yeah, for me, one of my key focuses in the last year or two, or really, I guess post COVID, but even more so now,
Mhm.
is continuing to be a leader in a very engaging way. Because when it comes to training or coaching, it can get very muddled. If I need to keep, or even a keynote, and I need to keep an audience engaged, and a lot of my training ends up being online, even when they're right in my city, because some teams are remote right now.
Yeah.
You know how it is. When people are online, the screens are off, they're multitasking, they're emailing. So I am always looking for the most innovative approach. I don't use PowerPoint anymore. I use very cool software. I ask a lot of questions. I am great doing lots of group work. I'm having lots of resources. I'm having them look at things beforehand. We have follow-ups after. It is a very engaging and collaborative relationship.
Mhm.
And to me, that's what really, and I'm always striving, like, how do I become the best in class for that? Because
Yeah.
again, I think that's what makes me stand out. That what makes me memorable. That's where I get referrals more than maybe other trainers and coaches,
Mhm.
because it's such a collaborative and memorable approach. So that's really where I've put a lot of focus.
Love that. I love the fact that you're evolving in so many ways and you're finding unique ways to, like you said, engage the audience and keep it moving and innovative. Now, with everything you've accomplished so far, really, you're publishing, you're doing over like 180 podcast episodes as well, from what we've seen. What's top of mind right now for growing Life is Organized over the next 6 to 12 months? What does the runway look like this year?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to be expanding my team, so this is very exciting. Getting some other coaches involved. Right now, I have a smaller team of someone doing my marketing and my website development and admin, but I'm doing all the coaching. So I'm pretty much created a system now that can be replicated and scaling that way. So it's a really exciting time. I know it will come with some growing pains, but I'm
Mhm.
up for the challenge. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just excited to extend the brand.
Love that. I love that. We need more of yous. If only you can close
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and find the right fits, find the people who
Mhm.
your values and your mission. Let's get a bit hypothetical because I love this conversation and like your passion essentially for helping a lot of women, especially within some of those higher demand fields like squash stress, finding that like work-life balance amongst those other things. If you had a genie in the room and you rubbed the lamp and now all of a sudden, poof, there's all these unlimited resources, what would you implement almost like immediately to accelerate the growth of Life is Organized?
Ooh, that's so good. I would say I'm stumped on like the one thing. What would be the one? I think continuing to take advantage of AI. I think the automations, I think I'm very much into it as a productivity person, but I also know that I'm scratching the surface and it's moving so fast. And I know there's just more and more opportunities there to make even our internal systems more automated and more efficient. And we're doing it all the time, but I just also know there's like a whole world I don't know, and that's just going faster. And that we're going to be able, already there are tasks that truly, I swear, would take us 2 weeks that we're doing in an hour now. So I just know there's more and more opportunity for that. And so in terms of having that genie, I think it'd be like, just show me exactly what those are. Like, where are the areas? Are there any more areas that I'm just not using it to the best of their skills that we can? I could see an opportunity, maybe like financial. I think really more analysis and data, maybe targeting and analysis. I feel like that's an area that I'm underutilizing it, that I think it would really help with our growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I know right now there's a lot of talk about generative AI and it's in so many different industries. And it's so interesting to see how that's going to pan out with coaching. Now, on that note, like now that we're in the lightning round, one more question. How do you see the productivity coaching industry just evolving in the coming years, especially with your specific focus is work-life balance for women? How is Life is Organized, like positioning itself for that type of future?
Yeah. So again, I said this a little bit earlier, but I think taking that very holistic, integrated approach. There's a lot of coaches who are like very focused on work. There's a lot that are focused on personal development, growth, kind of personal stuff. But there's few, and it's a unique space to say, we're looking at your entire life. I'm going to help you everything with how to systemize at work and fix your email and your communications and your boundaries just as much as your meal plan or your laundry or spending, being present with the people that are most important to you, being active in your community. It's like, how do we really look at your life as a whole and what that legacy is and what you want to leave in this world at the end of the day? And I think that is the approach that really just keeps us going and keeps us valued at like where we are.
Mm, I love that. And I'm super excited as you grow your team as well. You're going to get a lot of thought leadership out there and just really generate some more awareness. One last question, actually, and I really want to
Yeah,
ask. I know that I said that was the last question, but
that's okay.
for the listeners, entrepreneurs and founders, what's one tool or resource or like best piece of advice that you would give to them, especially those that are like transitioning from other careers into like entrepreneurial ventures like productivity coaching?
My best advice or something I would say is you will always feel like an imposter.
Mhm.
Always. It doesn't matter what level you're at, what you're doing. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You'll always have some type of hesitancy or questioning yourself. Am I good enough? Can I do this? Do I have the right skills? They're doing it so much better. All of that mental mind clutter is just always going to be there. So the advice then is do it anyway because it's never going away. You'll never be ready. It will never be perfect. It'll never be the right time. You just go for it and you have to deal with that every day.
Yeah, no, so well said. And it applies across so many other verticals as well, whether it's like tech, coaching,
Mhm.
whatever it is in the entrepreneurial landscape. But it's reassuring, though, that you can relate to that and you're saying it. And it's the differentiator between conceptualizing something in your mind and actually putting it to practice and starting it and doing it, right? And
Yeah, for sure.
some of the things that prevent people from moving forward. No, on that note, that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Mridu, thank you so much for joining us today and really just sharing your remarkable journey with us. Really, a lot of your roots in professional organizing and founding Now Life is Organized. You're empowering, evidently, thousands of women squash stress and reclaim time. So, to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, you'd like to get in touch with Mridu, don't forget to follow her on LinkedIn. We'll attach her company profile in the summary below. And don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find some more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class sales systems. Until then, keep climbing